welcome to this jazz guitar lesson. I'm Chris Whiteman, and thanks for joining me. Today is part 2 of Kenny Burrell's Soul Lament. We went over the first half of the tune in part 1, and I will put a link in the video description of this video so you can find part 1 and start there. So we ended part 1 with what I'm calling this interlude between E minor 9 and E minor 6. So that's where we left off, and now we're moving into the bridge. So I'll play the first 4 bars of the bridge, and then we'll come back and talk about what he's doing. 3, 4. So he starts with an A minor 9, right? I have G, C, E, B. So this is a drop 2 voicing, third inversion. I have my 7th, my 3rd, my 5th, and my 9th, right? He plays that on beat 1, and then on beat 2, he hits the E. So 1, 2, and then on the end of beat 2, he moves into a D7 flat 9. It is an F sharp diminished. I like the description. This is a dominant 7th flat 9 disguised as a diminished. Right. So we have A minor 9 to D7 flat 9, and there's some syncopation there, right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and, right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and. So it resolves to the G major 7 on the end of beat 1 of the next measure, right? So it's 2-5-1, A minor 9, D7 flat 9 to G major 7, and then he goes to the 6th chord. He hits the open E and changes this voicing to a drop 2 E minor 7 first inversion. G, D, E, B, right? So my 3rd, my 7th, my root, and my 5th of E minor. So you put those 2 measures together and you get this 3, 4. All right, so the 3rd bar of the bridge, which is measure 31 for my Patreon subscribers that have the PDF of this lesson, sounds like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and, right? So same voicings as bar 29 and bar 30, the first 2 measures of the bridge, just some slightly different rhythms, right? And then moving on to the 5th bar of the bridge, measure 33, we are going to move up to the A minor 9 that we used in the first half of the tune, right? And it's going to sound like this. Right, so A minor 9 to D7, and then the melody moves to B, right? And put it in time. 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And then this is followed by B minor 7. Again, it's syncopated. It's coming on the end of 1, and it sounds like this. 3, 4, 1. Right, so B minor 7, that is a drop 2 root position. I have B, F sharp, A, and D, right? Root 5th, my 7th, and my 3rd. And you put those 2 measures together from bar 33, 3, 4, 1. Right, so after that B minor 7, I come down and the melody moves to B, A, G, F sharp, G. And then we move to our C13 with a 9, right? I think I have it written as C9 add 13. And we used this voicing in the first half. Here, what I want to do is I want to extend my index finger down because I'm going to need that bass, because Kenny does this. He goes 1, 2, and 3, right? 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I move, the melody moves from D to C, and I just take my pinky off, and then I catch the C under the index, right? So the next voicing is a really pretty voicing, is a B13 sus, right? So if you know like a B13, you want to create a suspension, you find the third and you move it up a half step, right? I'm going to have to refinger it to get that, right? So I have A, which is my 7th. I have E, which is my suspension. I have G sharp, which is my 13, and then I have a B in the top, right? That's my root. I'm also going to grab B down here, right? So the way this measure sounds is bar 36. It goes 1, 2, and then this suspension resolves, and we add some tension as well. We add the sharp 5 and the flat 9. So the suspension, that would be the resolution of the suspension, and then the 13 moves down to the sharp 5, and the root moves up to the flat 9, and we get, right? It's one of my favorite parts of the whole tune. It goes like this: 1, 2, and 3, and then he does this nice slide down to get back to the E minor, and that's the whole bridge. So let's play that from the beginning of bar 29. 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's the bridge. And now back into the original melody statement. This open E, that's taking place of, the chords that he was normally doing in the first half. So we slide down, that's beat 1, and then we're into the melody. And then we do this slide like we did earlier in part 1. And then immediately drop down. Right, so that should be familiar from part 1. And then the melody statement again. Back down. Start with the 6/9 down to the E minor with the raised 5th. And then that chord stab with the F sharp, G, and B, right? And then the melody statement. Move back to the A minor 9, to the D7, C9, add 13. And then we have the B7. This time he doesn't do the full B7. He starts with the flat 7, starts with the A, and then moves up to the G there, right? And we're back to our vamp. And then we move up to the E minor 6/9. All right, so that was a recapitulation of the original melody statement from part 1. And so let me play that whole section of that melody statement. It's from bar 37, right? And that's coming out of this slide down. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we have a little bit of an improv section where he is playing riffs out of the E minor blues scale. let's look at each phrase of this improv section, right? So bar 45, 2, 3, 4. Right, so he hits the E minor 6/9 on beat 1, and then on beat 2, he has these really kind of staccato rhythms. It's a 16th followed by a dotted 8th, right? And he goes, so G to A, G to E, D to B. 1. And then this vamp. All right, that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, bar 47, it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, so here he slides from the F sharp to the G, right? And then he slides from the D up to the E, and then comes down to the D, pulls off to the B, back to the G, right? All right, so after 47, we have another vamp, and then another minor blues idea. All right, so here he starts on the blue note, the flat 5. He goes B flat to A, G to E, D to B natural. So, and again, these are 16th notes followed by dotted 8ths. So it has this very kind of staccato feel. 3, 4. And that was just back to the vamp. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then back to the E minor 6/9. And then in bar 51, he jumps back up to the 12th fret and he plays this idea. So he's going to slide from B flat to B, and then he's going to play these 16ths followed by dotted 8ths. He's going to go. All right, so I'm holding the E, and underneath that E, it's B flat, sliding into B, and then it goes B flat A, G, E, right? And you put it together with that E on top, it sounds like this. 1. Right, now it's back to that vamp. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then in bar 53, we have the beginning of the final melody statement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I played an E minor 6/9, and then we have E to G to high E, and then we have our A minor 9, which should be familiar from earlier in the tune. Then we move to D7, right? Also familiar from before. Move down to the melody B, and then we have a C13, right? So it's kind of a stripped down version. I just have the 7th, the 3rd, and the 13th, right? So B flat, E, and A, and then the A moves down to the melody note G. So, and then I have a B7 sharp 5, right? So it's a B7 shell voicing with a G on top, right? So root, 7th, 3rd, sharp 5, B, A, D sharp, G. And then the final melody note of that phrase is B natural, right? So, right. And now we're into our final vamp, right? And this happens 3 times. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's the chord we started on. And then the very ending chord is an E minor major 7 with a 9, right? So I have open E, I have G, which is my 3rd, B is my 5th, D sharp is my major 7, F sharp is my 9, and then have another B on top, which is my 5th. Right? So that is the second half of the tune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the whole second half from bar 29 through 59. All right, thanks for joining me. I hope you found this information useful. Everything we went over is available as a PDF download with standard notation and tablature for my Patreon subscribers, and I will put a link in this video description for those interested in exploring a membership. And I'll see you next time.